Kathy George's first publication was a short fiction collection, The Man in the Buick. She followed that with 7 police thrillers set in Pittsburgh featuring Detective Richard Christie. Her fourth in that series, The Odds, is a Carnegie Library choice for summer reading. She found Pittsburgh so ripe for crime writing that she edited Pittsburgh Noir, a collection of stories about crime in various neighborhoods throughout our city. In 2014, she published a historical fiction, The Johnstown Girls, a novel about the Johnstown flood. She is also a professor of theater at Pitt. Please welcome Kathleen George.
Thank you so much. I hope this hits just the right place, does it? You can hear me? Okay, this has had a couple of titles. It's new, and one title was Lena and Marie, and then that morphed into To Be Somebody, and it's currently running under the title of The Blues Walked In. And if you have a vote about which one you like at the end of this, please tell me. Okay. When she walked up Fullerton, everybody looked. Partly it was the New York clothes, that suit with the little check pattern in brown and olive green, the olive green shoes, the olive leather handbag, and the cocky little hat, a sort of brown disc, like an upside-down bowl with a sprig of green leaves bobbing out to the right. She carried a suitcase that hobbled her walk some, but the suitcase was of a good quality straw and leather, and she didn't want to leave it anywhere. 2 trunks would come later. People looked. She was used to it. The club she sang at the Cotton Club especially, that's what she'd been on stage for, to be looked at. And then, even off stage, she couldn't help herself. She kept getting decked out so that when they did look, what they saw was good. White and black, both looked at her. Her father hadn't come to the station. He told her in advance he probably couldn't, and if she didn't see him, she should take a cab. But she didn't get a cab, not one that would take her, and there were no jitneys around, so she caught a streetcar partway and began walking. She was thinking about getting married, learning humility, none of this sassiness of hers, wanting to be someone special. Her mother thought she should work to be famous, and it was tempting, but her father had made a serious speech the last time she saw him, saying life was about making breakfast, having kids, taking care of them. And there was the fact that she was not some Ethel Waters, not some Billie Holiday. They had style. Her own successes came from being pretty and almost white. The voices in her head included her grandmother saying, "You come from a family with class. Show business is low." While her mother, who didn't get along with her mother-in-law, was saying, "Nothing like it, glamour, show business." And her father was shaking his head, murmuring, "All that craziness, you could just stop and settle down." She paused for a while, winded, put down the suitcase and sat on it. She'd sat on worse. On the last bus she and the musicians toured in, the seats were so worn she got poked by rusty springs. She'd sat on a crate in a restaurant, one of the few restaurants that let her in, and she was grateful enough for the crate, even though there were vacant chairs around. She'd sat in filth and washed her good clothes in rooms that stank of former occupants. She was not supposed to be tired at her age, a year shy of 20, but she felt a bone weariness from always trying so hard, adapting to things. Winded, she put down the suitcase and sat on it. "Comfortable?" a man asked, passing her. "If I work at it," she said. She always tried hard at everything. Some 50 feet away, she saw what looked like an older and a younger teenager selling lemonade on the street, the one instructing the other. She squinted and hurried forward. Lemonade sounded mighty good to her. She wobbled a few steps and then found her swing again. The 2 girls were staring at her wide-eyed. "Is business good?" she asked them. The younger one, 12, 14, shook her head and shifted position once. She was wearing a faded blue dress and shoes with socks. "Kid, I buy some of that cool drink?" "Please, God," she said to herself, "don't let them refuse me." They had an assortment of glasses and chipped cups. Would they let her spend a nickel, then break the cup after? Did white kids at lemonade stands learn that lesson too? The girls, both of them had curly dark hair, and they were fairly well suntanned, but she could tell they were white, and they surely had her categorized as Negro. It usually took a moment. Something about her confused people, and they looked again and made up their minds. "Are you famous?" the older one asked. "Slightly," she laughed. "Only slightly." While the younger girl poured, the older one angled to take in her outfit down to the shoes. She took out a nickel. The little girl took it and, carefully balancing to avoid a spill, handed her a chipped cup that had a row of gray diamonds around the rim and a missing handle. Lena drank thirstily. "I love your shoes," the older girl said, "and all your clothes." "Thank you." The hat was slipping down toward her left eye, but she wasn't of a mind to take it off and reposition it. The older girl asked timidly, "Are you a movie star?" What an idea. Not that she hadn't had it herself. She shook her head, sorry to disappoint them. "You have to be discovered, that's what they say," said the older girl. "I suppose that's it." Her father was only 2 blocks away. She couldn't wait to see him, so she hauled up the suitcase, which held as many pieces of clothing as it could bear without springing open. "Thank you, honey, for the cool drink." If she hurried, she wouldn't know if they broke the cup. She usually went out of her way not to talk to white folks, but she'd wanted that glass of lemonade. Thank you.